We started planning the end of Ovalhouse in its Kennington home about 2 years ago, and in our first thoughts there was a discussion around a sort of greatest hits, the idea of bringing back artists from past years. And the more we thought about that, the more we realised that sense of the past and being reverential wasn't really what Ovalhouse is about. Ovalhouse has always been about the brand new, about telling stories that are really urgent, that need to be told right now by brand new artists who have really exciting things to say. And we set out from the very beginning to say that anybody working on this project was going to be treated as an artist. So all of the structural engineers would be treated in exactly the same way that we would treat another artist. And that's been fantastic. I mean, the kind of creative input from somebody like Allan Dunsmore, who is the structural engineer working on the project. Right from the beginning, he wanted to understand what the ideas of the project were, how he could service those ideas. When an artist proposed something that they would like to destroy within the building, he'd come back with another idea about how that could be done, coming up with really inventive solutions, which is part and parcel of how an artist works.
We were involved as the structural engineers for the new build for Ovalhouse Theatre in Brixton, and through that we heard about the theatre contacted me and asked if we could get involved in the Demolition Party, and that sounded interesting, and to get involved with the artists as well. And so it was basically a phone call. They said, would you like to come down for a chat about the plans for the old theatre and what we're planning to do to, finish off the performances there and bring the theatre to an end, as it were.
And it's also a theatre with a history of radicalism, of breaking new ground. And once we started thinking around that, actually, the idea of breaking new ground and that thought of what would be the most exciting way we could end this building. And we came up with the idea of the Demolition Party, the idea that we would actually destroy this building through performance. We'd take advantage of the fact that this is a one-time opportunity, a time when a theatre that we no longer needed, that was no longer really fit for purpose, could be destroyed through art. And it also fed into the themes that we were really excited by, the idea that destruction is a creative act, and that idea that things have to be destroyed in order for new things to grow.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Greg Wohead.
I'm Rachel Mars.
And we are Gaping Hole. No, we should be serious.
We applied for the Demolition Party Commission because we've both worked here, like over the past I've worked here for the past, on and off for the past 10 years, but we made a show here 4 years ago called Story Number One. And it just felt like a good thing to return just before the building was going to be pulled down. And it's rare that you get the offer to destroy a theatre as part of your show. So it was a very particular, a particular offer that I think we were seduced by.
It's been a really interesting challenge, I would say, because you envision what that's going to be like to demolish a building, and in your mind it's very dramatic, and without knowing logistically ourselves what it actually takes construction-wise or to maintain the structural integrity of the building, we have no way of knowing exactly what that means. So it has been a process of a lot of back and forth between what our ideal version of it is versus what is actually doable, and continuing to have that conversation. And then in the end, just doing the demolition that is possible, and then making the show around that. Yeah, and so the show's called Gaping Hole, and there's some stuff in it that's about plot holes. The idea is that our collaboration is about making these pieces of work that are exploring narrative and the radical possibilities of narrative. So for this one, we're kind of centering on the idea of plot holes. So with the space, we thought that obviously that idea really came about responding to a brief of making holes in the building, and what could we do with that. So in a way, we had come up with the idea in response to the space, or our idea of what could happen in the space in the demolition. And then we also had to then really throw out a lot of the idea when the realities of what was possible in the space became clear.